Let's get Victor Wembanyama a running mate, shall we? Welcome back to Trade Machine Dali. My name is Jacob Hollaball, the Salvador Dali of the Trade Machine. And today's mission, today's beautiful masterwork painting is to get Victor Wembanyama a second star, to get Pop one last chance at a title, to get the Spurs to up their timeline and realize that they should be trying to contend right now, today, yesterday, definitely next season. So let's do just that. The Spurs should be using their current cap space, which they have a boatload of, and trade assets, which they have a boatload of, to go get a potential star player to put with Wemby right now. He arrived fully ready to go. There's no waiting necessary, no long game to play. Treat him the way NFL teams treat good rookie QBs. Take advantage of having what looks like a top 20 and climbing level player on a rookie deal for the next 3 seasons and use that as the cheat code that it is. Now, any star would honestly work, just a second great player, but best case, we're looking for a guard. There's not that many out there available. We want someone to initiate the offense through Wembanyama, of course, but we want a great 2-man game with him. So I've got one man in mind, and that is a man out there in Cleveland right now. Here's the trade. The Spurs get Darius Garland. The Cavs get Keldon Johnson, Devonte Graham, the 25 first-round pick from Chicago, which is top 10 protected, the 27 first from Atlanta, which is unprotected, and the 31st from Dallas, which is also unprotected. Let's talk the Spurs side of this first. There are a few point guards available out there, namely really 4 from 2 teams, interestingly enough. Atlanta has Murray and Trey, both seemingly available. Cleveland seems like they're going to be picking between Mitchell or Garland, so at least one of them is, available here. And as far as top 3 player on a title team level talent goes, I think that's like our entire list of guards, the guard market that is available that fits that criteria. And of those 4, if I'm the Spurs, I want Garland. He is my number 1 choice. He's 24. He's just starting his 4-year extension. That shouldn't feel too pricey with cap increases the next few seasons, $36 million next season and going up a little bit every year after that. He's a career 38% shooter from 3 on a variety of shot types and a high volume. He can be, that traditional set up the team point guard while also being the lead scorer, creator. When asked, he's shown the ability to do both. Seems like the dream partner to pair with Wemby. His only downside is he's on the small side, but that's the luxury of Wembanyama is anyone can help. If anyone can hide a small guard, it's him. So Garland's value at this moment is a little bit low this offseason, coming off the season where he broke his jaw, had to come back from that. A team full of overlapping pieces caused, a dip from that all-star hype of the year prior. So maybe there's a world where this deal could be negotiated down to 2 first if they're the best the Spurs have to offer. Some combination of 3 to 4 feels right, pending some of them, like if they had to throw in one of their 2 picks, 4 and 8 in this year's draft, those aren't nearly as valuable as some of those long-term picks. So I like the 3 that I chose here, but it could be 4, it could be 2, depending on, where the negotiations went and how valuable of those picks they're throwing in there. But for the Spurs, if you get Garland, you put him with Devin Vassell, an up-and-coming shooting guard. You put him with Jeremy Sohan. You put him with Wembanyama. Those 4 together, that's a really great core to build around. They all make sense together. They all fit really well together. You throw some good, solid role player additions around them. Wemby blossoms. Garland plays like an all-star. Vassell continues to level up. That's a really, really good team, a competitive team next year to make the playoffs, a very good team, when we're looking 2-3 years down the road here. Giving up Keldon isn't, ideal, but it's the price of doing business with a team that wants to keep options open, including remaining relevant and competitive right now. The Spurs would still have $17 million in cap space available this offseason. They would have the 4 and 8 picks in this draft. They would have the juicy Atlanta unprotected first next year and all of their own picks moving forward. So other deals, other signings would very much still be in play. The only contracts to worry about right now, Trey Jones, Malachi Branham are due for potential extensions, but if you want to keep either, it's not going to be very costly deals. So you remain super flexible, having those 4 core guys all locked in for 3 to 4 years, tons of options to build a contender around them. Let's go to the Cavs side. It feels like they know they've got to split up the redundancies here, which means Mitchell or Garland's got to go, Mobley or Allen's got to go. We will do trades involving one or both of those guys in the near future. Don't you worry. Common sentiment seems to think like Mitchell and Allen got to be together and Garland and Mobley got to be together. I don't see any reason why you can't, keep the slightly older of the guards in Mitchell, the slightly younger of the bigs in Mobley. So I'm looking, move Garland, get a solid young player on a good deal back in Keldon Johnson, a guy who kind of got lost in the shuffle with the Spurs last year, lost value in the basketball public's eyes, it seems, but reminder, was on the Team USA FIBA roster not that long ago, was one young guy on the team getting that experience. He's 24, plenty of time and room to grow into a really good starting caliber wing who can shoot mid, even high 30s. He went 39% from 3 2 years ago on 400 attempts. So it's there, it's available, solid D across 4 positions. It's a good young player. Bringing Devonte Graham either as the backup spark plug scorer on next year's team if you're trying to compete, or potential trade deadline piece to a contender needing that, maybe for a few second round picks at next year's deadline. Either way, expiring deal, cap flexibility comes next offseason. And then the draft picks, they're great haul for either plan A of building around Mitchell and Mobley. You use them in a trade for a second star that fits better with those two, better than Garland did, or for plan B where you end up trading Mitchell too and you go into full-blown rebuild mode. So what do you think? Are the Cavs holding out for a higher caliber player in return to put with Mitchell? I'd considered that, but I couldn't figure out that player in theory that's available to them, and the few options that came to mind didn't make that much sense for Garland as the thing going back. It almost made more sense to me of like, get Keldon in the 3 picks and then theoretical wing star that you might want to pair with Mobley and Mitchell. You could use these assets to go get instead of Garland plus picks to go get. I don't know. Am I crazy? Do you think they would go for this? Would the Spurs balk at spending 3 to 4 picks on Garland? I would hope not. I mean, Greg Popovich is an old man, okay? He's basically threatened to retire a bunch of times already. It seemed like he was going to retire a few years ago. We don't need to make him try to hang on 5 more years to compete for a title here. Let's let the man get in the playoffs this year. Let's let the man compete for a title, maybe win a title 2-3 years from now and retire on top. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? Am I a genius? Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe because we've got a bunch more trades coming this week throughout the entire trade season, off season, and into next season too.